Charity is supposed to be about helping people, but for some influencers, it's just another cash grab. They post emotional videos, ask for donations, and promise to change lives, only for the money to mysteriously disappear. From fake charities to outright fraud, these influencers played the internet, scammed their own fans, and got caught in the worst way possible. And today, we're starting with a TikTok star who allegedly pulled off a $1 million scam on her followers. Amy Downs, the TikTok queen of charity fraud. Meet Amy Downs. She was known for her over-the-top casino slot machine content, but behind the flashy videos, investigators say she was running a fake charity that never existed. If you think that's bad, wait until you hear how deep the scam goes. Amy is a 57-year-old woman from Athens, Alabama, sitting in front of a camera, telling her audience about her charity for victims of domestic violence and homelessness. Her voice is filled with emotion, her eyes well up with tears, and she thanks her followers for the generosity. Every dollar you send, she says, goes straight to helping people in need. You believe her. Thousands believe her. Nearly $1 million in donations later, she's built a loyal community of people who trust her with their money. But what if I told you that the charity never existed? What if I told you that every single dollar meant for the victims went straight into her own pocket? In December 2024, the Limestone County Sheriff's Office finally put an end to the scam. Amy Downs was arrested, charged with 7 counts of first-degree charitable fraud and 3 counts of tax evasion. The investigation revealed that there was no charity, no shelters, no outreach programs, no assistance for victims. It was a lie. For months, Downs allegedly collected money from trusting donors, spinning a story so convincing that people kept giving and giving, believing they were changing lives. Investigators traced the donations and found that the money wasn't going to charitable programs. It was going straight into Amy Downs' personal accounts. Instead of helping domestic abuse victims, she was allegedly helping herself. The community was furious. People who had followed her for months, who had trusted her with their hard-earned money, were left feeling betrayed. Some had donated repeatedly, believing they were making a real difference. Now, they were just another statistic in a TikTok scam gone horribly wrong. And the punishment? Authorities weren't playing around. Downs was booked into Limestone County Jail, with her bond set at $1,125,000, a number that reflected just how serious these charges were. If convicted, she could face years in prison for fraud, plus additional penalties for tax evasion. Authorities are now urging anyone who donated to come forward. Meanwhile, Downs sits behind bars, facing the reality that people she scammed won't forget what she did. Chiara Ferragni, misleading charity promotions. Chiara Ferragni was one of the biggest fashion influencers on the planet, but is now at the center of a massive charity fraud scandal. We're talking millions of euros, misleading promotions, and a PR nightmare that sent her entire empire into a tailspin. But trust me, the story gets even worse. It all started in November 2022, when Ferragni announced a collaboration with the Italian confectionery brand Balocco to release a special edition Christmas Pandoro cake. The pink branding, the elegant font, the sleek influencer-approved marketing. It was all designed to make you believe that buying this cake meant helping children with bone cancer at the Regina Margherita Children's Hospital in Turin. A noble cause, right? Except there was a huge problem. The actual charitable donation had already been made months earlier, and it had nothing to do with the cakes being sold. Investigators later uncovered that Balocco had donated 50,000 euros to the hospital long before the cakes even hit shelves. But here's where it gets worse. Ferragni's companies received around 1 million euros from Balocco for lending her name and image to the cakes, while consumers were led to believe their purchases were directly contributing to cancer research. Imagine that. The person selling the cake makes more money than the cause it was supposedly helping. By December 2023, the Italian Competition Authority stepped in and hit Ferragni with a $1,075,000 fine for misleading marketing. The public outrage was immediate. She lost nearly 90,000 Instagram followers overnight, and suddenly, Ferragni, who had spent years crafting the perfect image of a stylish, compassionate entrepreneur, was being accused of using sick children to boost her own profits. Ferragni knew she had to act fast. Within days, she uploaded a tearful apology video telling fans,
Ciao a tutti, sono sempre stata convinta che chi è più fortunato ha la responsabilità morale di fare del bene. Questi sono i valori che hanno sempre spinto me e la mia famiglia, e questo è quello che insegniamo ai nostri figli. Gli insegniamo anche che si può sbagliare e che quando capita bisogna ammettere e, se possibile, rimediare all'errore fatto e farne tesoro. E questo è quello che voglio fare ora. Chiedere scusa e dare concretezza a questo mio gesto. Devolverò 1 milione di euro a Regina Margherita per sostenere le cure dei bambini. Ma non basta. Lo voglio fare pubblicamente perché mi sono resa conto di aver commesso un errore di comunicazione. Un errore di cui farò tesoro in futuro, separando completamente qualsiasi attività di beneficenza che ho sempre fatto e che continuerò a fare dalle attività commerciali.
And in a move that some called damage control, she personally donated 1 million euros to the hospital, but it was too late. The scandal, which the Italian press quickly dubbed Pandora Gate, had already spiraled out of control. Then, as if things couldn't get any worse, investigators dug deeper. They found out that this wasn't the first time Ferragni had pulled a stunt like this. Her name had also been slapped on Easter eggs in 2021 and 2022, which were marketed as supporting children with autism. Same story. Big promises, tiny donations. Facing mounting pressure, Ferragni agreed to pay an additional 1.2 million euro to a children's charity to settle the Easter egg debacle. But the legal troubles didn't stop there. In January 2025, Milan prosecutors formally charged her with aggravated fraud, setting the stage for a high-profile trial set to begin later this year. Ferragni, of course, maintains her innocence, writing in an Instagram post, "I sincerely believe that it was not necessary to hold a trial to prove that I never cheated anyone. I will unfortunately have to live with this accusation, which I consider deeply unfair, but I am ready to fight with even greater determination to prove my absolute innocence." But the court of public opinion, that's a different story. Her reputation has taken a massive hit, and brands that once lined up to collaborate with her are now distancing themselves. Save the Kids token scam. One day you're chilling, watching your favorite gaming influencers, and they just keep talking about this new crypto project called Save the Kids. They're hyped, telling you that it's not just another token, it's a way to make money while helping kids in need. It's a no-brainer, right? A chance to get in early on something huge while doing good. You're not alone. Thousands of people bought in, trusting influencers who swore this was a game changer. In June 2021, this was the story behind the Save the Kids token launched. It promised to be the first charity-focused cryptocurrency. Every time someone bought or sold the token, a percentage of the transaction would go to children's charities. It all sounded noble, but here's the thing. None of the influencers promoting it actually cared about the charity. This wasn't about helping kids, this was about helping themselves. The project had some serious names behind it. FaZe Clan members Fraser K. Katri, Jarvis Katri, Nikan Nadim, and Tico were all over this, hyping it up with their massive audiences. Even big influencers outside of FaZe like Ricegum and Samaray jumped in to promote it. They posted tweets, made videos, and told their followers that this was the next big thing. And people believed them. Because why wouldn't they? These were trusted influencers, gaming legends who had built massive careers by being entertaining, successful, and, most importantly, relatable. But what nobody knew was that the entire thing was rigged from the start. See, the Save the Kids token had something called an anti-well mechanism, a feature that was supposed to prevent big investors from dumping their tokens all at once. This meant that you couldn't just buy a huge amount of tokens and sell them instantly for profit. Or, at least, that's what everyone thought. Turns out, just before launch, the developers quietly changed the code, removing the anti-well mechanism for certain wallets. You know what happened next? The influencers and their inner circle dumped their tokens immediately, cashing out before anyone else even had a chance to react. The value of the coin crashed instantly, and just like that, the people who trusted these influencers got completely wiped out. People lost thousands of dollars. Some had invested their life savings. And when the dust settled, the so-called charity-focused token had done zero charity work. Not a single documented donation was ever made. This wasn't just a failed project. This was a blatant pump and dump scheme. The backlash was instant and brutal. Within days, FaZe Clan had no choice but to take action. They kicked K out of FaZe and suspended Jarvis, Nikan, and Teiko indefinitely. The organization released a statement saying, FaZe Clan had absolutely no involvement with our members' activity in the cryptocurrency space, and we strongly condemn their recent behavior. But here's where things get even crazier. When people started digging into the scam, they found something even shadier. A guy named Sam Pepper, yes, the same Sam Pepper who got canceled for fake pranks and creepy behavior, was involved in orchestrating the whole thing. YouTuber CoffeeZilla ran an entire investigation and found that Pepper had a history of pulling off crypto scams, using influencers to prompt projects before cashing out and leaving their followers broke. As the pressure mounted, Kay tried to backpedal. He posted an apology saying, "I want you all to know that I had no ill intent in promoting any crypto altcoins. I honestly thought that we all had a chance to win." But by this point, nobody was buying it. The damage was done. The Save the Kids scandal became one of the most infamous influencer scams in crypto history, a perfect example of how easy it is to manipulate an audience for financial gain. At the end of the day, this whole thing was never about helping kids. It was about making a quick buck at the expense of fans who trusted them. And the worst part, nobody involved ever truly faced consequences. Kay got kicked from FaZe, but he still has a platform. The others quietly moved on. And the people who lost money, they got nothing. So next time an influencer tries to sell you the next big crypto project, remember Save the Kids, and maybe think twice before you buy in. Brittany Dawn. Back in 2014, Brittany Dawn Davis launched Brittany Dawn Fitness LLC, selling custom fitness and nutrition plans that supposedly catered to each individual. Clients were promised personalized meal plans, customized workouts, and direct coaching from Brittany herself. The price wasn't cheap, $92 for a one-time macro consultation and up to $300 for an extended program. But hey, invest in yourself, right? The problem? None of it was real. It started with a few complaints here and there. Clients weren't getting responses when they asked for updates. Others never received their plans at all. And then the worst part, the people who actually got their meal plans, they were all the same. Generic, mass-produced fitness templates sold under the guise of personalized coaching. Some women struggling with eating disorders had signed up specifically because they thought Brittany could help. Instead, they got low-calorie meal plans and cookie-cutter workout routines with zero regard for their health. By 2019, the whole thing exploded. A Facebook group called Brittany Dawn Fitness Complaints was created and flooded with thousands of people who had the exact same story. The Better Business Bureau was bombarded with negative reviews. Yelp was a disaster. And then, Brittany got called out publicly. She panicked. She uploaded a tearful apology video telling her followers,
"I apologize to anyone who feels like they got scammed from me. I was not only a coach, but also the sole content creator, customer service, business owner, YouTuber, financial advisor, and everything else that comes with every business. I now realize that I should have had more help and that this is a lesson that I am having to now learn the hard way, and for that, again, I am sorry."
But the damage was done. She was refunding people left and right, trying to put out the fire, but it was too late. The authorities were watching. In February 2022, the Texas Attorney General filed a lawsuit against Brittany Dawn, accusing her of deceptive trade practices. The lawsuit made it clear she lied to her customers. She promised one-on-one coaching but gave them copy-pasted plans. She targeted people with eating disorders but gave them dangerous, unqualified advice. And worst of all, she profited off every single one of them. Facing up to $1 million in fines, Brittany pivoted. She rebranded herself completely, stepping away from fitness and diving into religion. She started She Lives Freed, a Christian influencer brand hosting women's faith retreats at $600 a ticket. But a lot of people weren't buying it. They saw it for what it was, a calculated attempt to leave the fitness scam behind and start fresh in a different niche. By May 2023, Brittany reached a settlement. She agreed to pay $400,000 with $300,000 in civil penalties and $100,000 in restitution to the thousands of women she scammed. On top of that, the court banned her from selling personalized fitness plans ever again. She was also forbidden from giving any advice related to eating disorders, acknowledging just how reckless her fake coaching had been. But here's the thing. Brittany Dawn never truly faced real consequences. She lost some money, sure, but she still has her platform. She's still making money off of new followers who don't even know about her past. And the thousands of people who trusted her, they got a small refund, but they never got what they actually wanted. The support, the guidance, the fitness journey they were promised. Belle Gibson. Belle Gibson first made waves in the early 2010s, telling her followers that she had been diagnosed with terminal brain cancer at the age of 20 and was given 4 months to live. Instead of accepting her fate, she said she rejected chemotherapy and instead turned to clean eating, holistic medicine, and alternative therapies. Her followers were hooked. She wasn't just selling wellness, she was selling a miracle. And miracles sell fast. Her brand exploded. She launched The Whole Pantry, a lifestyle app packed with recipes and wellness tips that promised to help others heal naturally, just like she had. The app was a hit, racking up 200,000 downloads almost immediately. She didn't stop there. She got a book deal. Her cookbook became a bestseller, and even Apple backed her, planning to feature her app on their brand new Apple Watch. But here's where things got dark. She didn't just sell wellness and hope. She sold charity. Belle claimed that a large portion of her profits from The Whole Pantry would go towards charitable causes, including children's hospitals and cancer research. She told her audience that buying her book, downloading her app, and supporting her business meant they were also helping people in need. And they believed her, until the money never showed up. By 2015, things started to unravel. Journalists started asking questions about where these charity donations had gone. Belle kept dodging. She told some followers that the money was on its way. Then she told others that she had been misled by the organizations she was donating to. But the truth was simpler than that. She never donated the money at all. Then came the biggest bombshell. Reporters started digging into her cancer diagnosis, and suddenly, her story didn't add up. The hospital she claimed had treated her had no record of her ever being a patient. The doctors she mentioned didn't exist. The therapy she swore by had no medical backing. And then, after weeks of mounting pressure, Belle finally admitted it.
And I've not been intentionally untruthful.
She never had cancer. She lied about everything. The fallout was instant and brutal. Apple pulled her app. Her book was yanked from stores. Her fans who had once worshipped her turned against her in rage. Some had trusted her advice instead of seeking real medical treatment. Others had spent thousands of dollars on useless holistic therapies because they believed Belle was proof that they worked. The Australian government wasn't about to let her get away with it. In 2017, she was taken to court and fined for $410,000 for misleading consumers. The court ruled that she had no reasonable basis for claiming she had cancer and had knowingly defrauded the people who believed in her. And the best part? She still hasn't paid the fine. After disappearing for a while, Belle tried to reinvent herself. She resurfaced in Melbourne's Oromo refugee community, calling herself Sabantu and acting like she was one of them. But once people figured out who she really was, that didn't last long either. So, where is she now? Still dodging the fine, still avoiding accountability, and still a reminder that not every Instagram guru is what they seem.